Hello, Gimara Hashiv and you. It's Mr. Joseph, Kolari Mo Cats, Pitoffee. Uh, I'm Joseph, along with my cat Pitoffee. He's here sitting next to me. And today we're going to talk about comparatives. My Gaelic exam is a few days away, and I'm expecting her to ask Kurisaha Tovrahar Kolach. Notice the T is silent there. Literally, what's your brother like? Okay, so she's looking for descriptions. And today we're going to talk about comparatives, taller than, smaller than, bigger than, that kind of thing. Okay. We're also going to talk about how to say as big as small as. And let's begin with that. As big as small as. And then we'll move on to talk about bigger and smaller. Right. So to say as tall as big as, you use a construction ho re, Okay, ho something re, as big as tall as. Let's look at an example here. Hamovrahar ho arsht re mofur, as tall as. So literally, this says, is my brother as tall as my sister? Because remember, in Gaelic, often the verb sits fast. This isn't a question, is my brother? This is the answer. This is the statement. My brother is. Okay, so is my brother as tall as my sister? Ham of Rahar. Notice it's lenited with the extra H because of the mo. Ho arsht. Sometimes in the Gaelic world you hear ard. Uh, this is the thing about Gaelic, pronunciation varies greatly. I'm told that ard is common in some parts of the Gaelic world, but I'm saying arsht because that's what I know and that's what I've heard. Arsht ri mofur. My brother is as tall as my sister. Let's try another one. Ha and Q ho bek ri cats. Literally, is the dog as small as the cat? Ha'ichu snog, or snock, rather, re oo. She is as nice as you. Oh, really? Right, okay, so if it was me, I would put an emphasis on that at the end because it just seems more natural. Right, and then there's some practice adjectives here. More, big, beck, small, arshed, tall, snock. Nice. Okay, so how would you say my house is as big as your house? How would you put that in? How would you say my house is as tall or as big? I guess is the correct way to say it. My house is as big as your house. Any ideas? How would you say that? Can you think about how you might say it? Yeah, you're going to need that whole reconstruction. You're also going to need the verb to be. Okay. So what would that look like? Any ideas? What would that look like? Well, I'm going to write it in here for you. I'll just put it underneath. Ha motai homor re two, and then it's lenited here. Okay, so the pronunciation changes. All right, so that's how you would say it. Notice that the verb is there fast with the is. That's really important. Yeah. What else can you see there? What else can you see? Well, of course, There's a few things. The chori is in the middle, just like the co-example. You can see it starts with is as well. So literally, what it's saying is, um, is my house as big as your house? Okay, so that's what it's saying there. Now I'm just going to check on that pronunciation of this end word here, which looks like thigh, but I'm sure it's not. So let me just check and see how to pronounce that. Yeah, as I thought, the T is silent and it becomes high. So this would be hamo high, uh, homori too high, and they're both lenited. I don't think I picked that up the first time when I was showing you that. Okay, really important. There we are. Okay, so hamo high, homori too high, too high. Right, so that's quite easy, as big as. It's a little bit more complex when we look at bigger than. Okay, so we had that example earlier about my brother. Okay, so the question is the same. If I want to say my brother is taller, I don't use the chori because that's as tall as. So I would use nas and na. Hamovrahar nas arsht namishe. Now this, notice it has a little e now. Do you see that? This is a grammatical thing. So that would have to become arsht. It's very slight, arsht namishe. Okay. I don't want to make this any more complex than you can see here. These are words that we've not really got into, so I'm not going to go over them. But you can see there's more adjectives you can use. More, bigger. Okay. So looking at that, how do you think we would say my house is bigger than your house? Now remember, it's still going to lenite. Okay, it's still going to have that extra H, so it's still going to be high rather than tie. What's that going to be like? We're not using the Hori construction, remember? So what are we going to say there? Any ideas? Let me write it for you. 1 second. I'll just put it in here if I can. I have all these cells set up to paste things in. It's a bit of a pain. Okay, I'll just paste it here. There we are. And then I can pull this down. Okay, so ha mo high nas moa na too high. Okay, so moha or moa mo high nas moa na too high. My house is bigger than your house. Okay, so that is how we do comparatives. Now, also, of course, if she's saying Kurishaha to Vrahar Kolach, I could answer with those statements we had the other day, like he has blonde hair or he has short hair. Now, remember the rule for that. If we talk about hair, which is false, we talk about the hair on him. Okay, so for example, it's going to be let me just think of an example. Falt ruig onum. Okay, maybe not the best sentence. Well, it's not really a sentence. I just want to give you an example that we use air. We don't say the hair at him. We talk about the hair on him. And if it's a woman, of course, it's going to be ora. So it's a little bit confusing sometimes. Okay, so if you're talking about my brother has long hair, that's going to be something like ha falt fada er mo rahar. And now I just want to check to make sure that's definitely right because I get a strong feeling that I've missed something there. So let me just have a look at my notes. Yeah, yeah. So that is right, except that with the mo, I forgot to use the lenition. It triggers lenition, and of course there should be an accent on there as well, which I don't type on Microsoft Word. Okay, so this is saying, is the long hair on my brother? Okay, that's how we make the sentence in Gaelic. But strangely, if I can just move this up a bit, okay. Strangely, if we're talking about eye color, we don't use air or ora. We use the usual verb of have. Acum, acet, uh, achke for they, for example, or for her, ichke for him, ike. Yeah, so uh, that's how we do it for eye color. I'm just trying to keep this all on the same page. Let me just see if I can move that up a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so we've said for hair, we use this, and we're saying now for eyes, we use a different verb. So this is on him, on her. Okay, this is, of course, the possessive at me. So for eye color, we use at. Okay, so the sentence then would be, just move this up a bit more. The sentence then would be ha sulin gorm, or you can say gorma, which is the correct plural, but not everyone says it. Hasulin gorma. Okay, or my brother. So I can say ihke. So literally, are blue eyes at him. Overahar. Of course, I'm not typing the accent there either. Okay, so there we are. That's it. So that is how we do comparatives, bigger, smaller. So it's quite straightforward, isn't it? Once you know the structure, the whole hair on him thing, but the eyes at him, that's a little bit more confusing. Right, there we are. So that's it for now. So thank you very much, and I will see you all again soon. Thank you.